What's going on, guys? Welcome to One for All of Us. Today's video is going to be on how we are all, in a way, solo leveling our way through life. And the idea came basically from the show Solo Leveling, the anime. And then after that, I finished the manhwa as well as the sequel, Ragnarok, which has to do with his son. So basically, kind of the outlook on life that I kind of perceive to make things more interesting, because it's like life is what it is. But in a way, it is like a video game. You know, we're constantly have quests we need to complete to be able to accomplish certain things, and you know, we work on certain areas to level it up. Just like working out, right? You're just basically buffing your strength stats. Same as if you are good with charisma and practice that, you're just buffing your charisma stats. Like we're basically just doing that. But in a video game, I guess, since there's like panels that pop up, and you know, like screens in order to display it, it's like it makes it more fun. But since we don't have that, I guess we treat it to be more like serious and something that's like not as fun. So to kind of get into a view of life that I kind of perceive now is just, again, we are basically playing like a video game when it comes to our life itself. If you treat it like a video game, I feel like it's a lot easier to improve in a lot of different areas, just by like keeping track of different things. And this isn't even like a manifestation or anything of that sort, right? At least not yet. This is just like an improvement of life overall when it comes to keeping track of things and viewing your progression and noting it like it is like an actual system. Like you could even like have a journal where you like, you know, like make like a graph or like a bar, and you know, each time you accomplish something, you just like color it in a little bit more to kind of show that you're leveling up in that area. So, but part of solo leveling, right, is with the pop-up windows, it's about a system that's in place. And in solo leveling, Jinwoo has a system that he basically is kind of told what to do. Okay, I need to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 10-kilometer run every single day. I need to go clear this dungeon. Okay, these enemies are in front of me. I need to defeat them. Okay, I need to go and do this in order to get this, right? It's basically guiding him in a way to be able to do things, right? If you think about it, right, we're essentially doing the exact same thing, again, without the pop-up windows. So for us, right, like what would be something that for a lot of us we're told at a young age, which is, okay, we need to accomplish school in order to hopefully get into a good college, and then complete that, and then be able to hopefully get a good, well-paying job that we're able to progress in until we have enough savings, you know, and hopefully make a good bit of money to have a decent life and then retire, right? Like that's pretty much the system in which we play by. That's generally speaking, like for most people, like what is expected of us at a certain age when we're young. But then we add on more things to our system in order to play by the rules. And this kind of gets more into kind of like a philosophical outlook, because ultimately what I want you guys to realize is that essentially not only do we have a system that's told to us, but then we add on to the system based on what we perceive is necessary in order to accomplish, right? But quite frankly, right, a lot of the stuff that we feel is necessary to the system, it's just not, it's not necessary at all. And we add more like stress and turmoil to our life by adding these unnecessary things that just aren't really good for us. And I think it's kind of proven now, especially like with college and stuff, like the fact that a lot of people are able to make way more than any other college graduate just by doing, stupid stuff online, right? Like the whole TikTok fame stuff is like absolutely brain rot. Like I don't understand it, right? But the point is that like they're still able to make way more money than any college graduate would in 100 years, right? And these people are doing it in like a few years, right? So when it comes to the system we play by, right, it's typically brought to us at a young age to get us to basically concede to the rules that we perceive are necessary. And then we basically lock ourselves like in a box where we're told to think like this and act like this and be like this, and this is what you're supposed to do, right? So when it comes to manifesting, and this is where it ties in, right? A lot of us are trying to break free of the system, but the system has such a huge like neck grasp on us, right? And it's almost like inadvertently like impossible to break free of it for a lot of people. And different people that like I've talked to online, right? Like I always ask them like, what are their negative beliefs that like are limiting beliefs about it, right? And you come to learn that like for people it's like what their family says or what others say, or like it's always about outside of them. Like outside of them is like what's causing the negative beliefs, right? And if it's them that's causing it, right, it's because of something outside of them making them feel terrible about themselves and then putting it on themselves, right? So it always reverts back to outside of the person. You guys got to realize that a lot of times we are our worst enemy. Like we are our worst enemy by far, right? There's like when they say there's no one to change but self, right? Like that is 100% true, right? Like we focus so much on the outside in order to dictate our lives, and quite frankly, like a lot of times I feel like we're not selfish enough, right? We care too much what others think, and we care because of the system that we're told to play by and the extra rules that we add on top of it as we get older based on what we're told and experience and live through, right? But it's only when you realize that the system in place that you're playing by, you created the rules. Ultimately, you are the architect of the system. And it's only when you realize that you're actually able to, I feel like, genuinely break free of this and be able to like create the life that you want, to choose the life that you want, right? And that's why I say it's to be more realistic than just like what some people say, oh, just, all you got to do is just, choose this and be this and, then it will come. But for a lot of people, there's so much like, I guess you'd call it like baggage, like years of baggage in their minds, right? That are added onto the system that's in their head that they're playing by. It's difficult to tell that kind of person that, oh, okay, you just need to try and work on changing your beliefs about it, right? Because it's like you have so much going against it, right? Like so much going against it. It's difficult. And, I empathize with a lot of you guys where, you're trying to do better, but like you have so many external things in your head that are telling you otherwise, right? So it takes practice to be able to break free of that, right? So the system that I'm saying to play by, right, is just improving yourself, right? But doing what you want to do, right? So it's like, okay, how do you level up, right? How do you level up in this system? Well, the main thing when it comes to manifestation that you want to level up is just your inner concrete belief, right? Like your inner knowing, your inner, I guess you'd call it like God self, right? Because like, you hear it all the time, like, oh, I am God, right? But for a lot of people, it's like, okay, like that's just words. You're just saying that. There's no belief behind it, right? You're just saying a couple words just to hope that maybe this does the trick, right? But it oftentimes doesn't, right? Because you don't really believe it. So in the system that I play by, right, that I kind of created for myself, right, like I would level up over time. And how do you do that? I mentioned it in the last video, but I think like writing down all of the small stuff you manifested, big or small, it doesn't matter, right? But all of the successes, right? Like think of those like as like leveling up your like XP over time, right? And regardless of like the like severity of importance of it, right? Like even if it's like something small, like someone just, the parking space at the front of the grocery store is open, right? Like that's, cool, right? But still, it's like you're almost like transforming your brain the way it thinks over time to be able to increase this level of belief within yourself, right? That you actually are God. It's not just words that are being said to you to believe in, because someone else said, who's successful online, oh, all you gotta do is believe you are God, and that's it, right? In my opinion, like this is how like you can actually like concretely get to that point over time. Because again, it's like working out, right? Like you're not gonna hop on and go to a gym and start squatting 3 plates. Like it's gonna crush you beneath the weight, right? Like you would have to be some kind of absolute monster to be able to do that his first time. It's just not gonna happen. And when it comes to like manifesting, right, it's not weight that crushes you, but it's this expectation that just saying these things will work. And when it doesn't work, then you get deflated and defeated, and now you're looking for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And that's how you get caught up in a snowball effect of bouncing from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, going through different Reddit posts, seeing what others did, right? Like quite frankly, like who fuck what other people do, right? Like it doesn't matter at all what they do. What matters is like whatever you have conviction and strong belief in, right? But again, right, you have to work on that belief yourself. And I believe that you work on that belief by leveling up your system of belief, right? You're leveling up that inner knowing that you actually are God. And again, right, if you had 100 things that you wrote down that you manifested, right, and let's say it took a month, you're telling me you wouldn't have a stronger conviction after that month than if you didn't do that? Like, of course you're going to have more conviction, right? Because you're noting it, right? If you don't note it, you're just going to forget it, right? Like life happens. Like we forget so fast. Some of the craziest shit, right, in my life that seemed in the moment to be terrible, horrible events that like had no business turning out good are now just part of my mind in the past that I barely think about, right? And those were big events, right? And I barely think about it at all, right? So what do you think is going to happen to like small things, like a parking spot opening up, right? You're going to forget it. So write it down, right? Write down all of the things that you are manifesting to build up this belief, right? And over time, just in silence, right? Like what I found is that like, okay, for like when it comes to like physical changes or like monetary stuff or even like just events that happen or whatever, right? At first, it's like you're like, oh, okay, like I am wealthy, like I am tall, I am, a chick magnet to where tons of women want me, right? Like at first when you say that, it sounds fake, right? But what I found is that over time, working with my mind and leveling up that conviction, after a certain point of time, and I don't know how long it was, I've been doing this for 5 years. It could have been, years for me to get to this point. But at a certain point, like before it was like fake, then once you do it, when you have like more conviction behind it, it doesn't sound fake. Like you mean it. Like you're speaking with your chest. You're like, no, like I am a chick magnet. I make a fuck ton of money. Like I have an infinite supply of money always going for me. No matter what, everything is perfect. Every event that happens, no matter what, I don't give a fuck what it shows. It's going to work out perfectly. And this time you say it with more conviction because like you actually mean it. Like you're speaking from like the bottom of your heart. Like you actually legitimately mean it. Whereas before, right, for a lot of you guys that are new, like you're saying that, but they're just words. Like there is no conviction. And I spoke before about like what is like concrete knowing. And again, it's like you look at the sky and it's blue. You know it's blue. You don't question it's blue. You don't double check to see if it's blue. It is blue, right? You just know it is, right? that's how it should be for the things that you're claiming I am. And if it's not to that point, like it's going to be hit or miss, right? You're kind of just you're leaving it to chance at that point, right? There is no strong conviction behind it. You don't really believe it, right? So like why would you become that person if you don't even believe what you're saying? So again, leveling up and how to level up is just doing small stuff, right? Things that you know for a fact are easy to manifest, right? It doesn't matter how small it is, right? Maybe you think of a person and they call. Cool, write it down, right? Oh, I'm thinking of Anna, right? Okay, Anna just texted me 5 minutes later saying she was thinking of me. Okay, cool. So you jot that down, right? You're thinking of a parent, right? And right when you thought of the parent, right, they called you. Okay, cool. Or maybe you're like, okay, the traffic light's going to turn green in exactly 5 seconds. And then 5 seconds later, it turns green instantly, right? Like little things like that, right? That don't seem very big, right? They compound over time, right? Like they compound over time. So it's like stacking on itself, right? Over and over and over again. And what might seem little in the moment, done over a long enough period of time, is what will get you to a high enough level of conviction that like now when you're facing like, okay, like I want to be someone that women always are interested in. Now this time when you say it, like you're actually conviction. And where this ties in with seduction is because women don't want guys that like don't believe in themselves, right? Like why like why would she want a guy who's like talking to her but his voice is cracking? Like why would she want that, right? What I realized is that like it wasn't necessarily like what you said to women when it comes to like pickup and seduction. Like quite frankly, like what I said never really mattered to me. But like the vibe that the girls got was just like I was confident and I didn't really care whether they liked me or not. Um, Obviously, I wasn't trying to be weird or like anything, right? Like, what the goal wasn't to just be like a weirdo and like not give a fuck what anyone thought, right? But it was more so like I was just there to have fun and just talk to them, and if they liked it, cool. If not, cool. Like it didn't really bug me, right? Like you especially with seduction, you got to be okay with rejection. Like it can't crush you, right? Like who cares? Like it's no big deal. Um, and that's why I say like seduction and manifesting are part of the same, right? Confidence and seduction, confidence and manifestation, right? Go a long way. So it's like say it with your chest, speak conviction, right? But to get that conviction, you got to level your mind up more, and that takes time. Till eventually, right? Let's say for you, because everyone's different. Being rich is like the hardest thing in your mind, right? That's like you grew up in poverty, so that's been the most difficult part to actually say I am rich and believe it, right? That takes the longest. So let's say that's like a level 70 in your mind. Eventually, right? The more you practice it, and the more you work on your conviction, your concrete knowing, that's what I call it, concrete knowing, right? Eventually you'll find one day you'll actually say it and it feels natural. It feels like, okay, no, I believe it now. And that could just change overnight, right? Like that could be like, one day you don't, one day you do. I find best because it's like similar to learning too. They always say that like if you cram for a test, like you're not going to do very well for most people. Um, like my girlfriend's different. She can study last minute and get an A for every test, but most people aren't like that. But they say the best way to study is to like go over a material and then basically stop and then wait till the next day to do it again, because over that time of waiting, like your brain's still like processing information inside, so that like when you come back to it, it makes more sense than it maybe did the day before, because you're giving it time to like go through everything. It's the same thing here. And the difficulty of the manifestation depends upon, one, what you place on it, of course, and the way to get it or be it or choose it, right, is simply just based on your level of conviction, your concrete knowing. And you attain that by simply just manifesting smaller stuff, right? And when I mean smaller stuff, right, like eventually, right, if you're a high enough level, right, maybe small things is like different. Like, okay, you found, I don't know, $300 on the ground, right? Or someone gave you just like a lotto ticket and it happened to have thousands of dollars on it, right? Like maybe that's like a higher level stuff that you're trying to like manifest for yourself. So that would be like level 30 or 40. So as you move up the ladder, right, like the level of difficulty for manifestation will increase because you'll need harder manifestations to keep leveling up. It's like when you can bench 225, right? By the time you get there, you're not still benching one plate on each side, right? And just doing it for reps, right? Like you're increasing the weight each time to work up to 225, right? It's the same thing here. So in a nutshell, guys, right? We all are playing by the system, right? We're all solo leveling. We're all in our own individual grind through this journey, right? Because we're all our own individual gods, right? So the system we play by, right? It is what it is, right? You're here or you're learning about this stuff to be able to break free of that system. But the system is the system, right? Whether you like it or not, it's there. We all have our own system, right? But you have to recognize that, one, the system that's in place, we contributed to that, right? We can't just be a victim mentality saying that we didn't contribute to it. It was society, it was our parents, right? Even though that is partially true, we added on a lot of it to ourselves, right? We did. So we need to have conviction in the fact that, like, okay, I need to do better. I need to be able to realize that I am the architect of my system. No one else. Fuck anyone else. And it's not saying to be like an asshole to everyone and just say, no, fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want, right? No, but it's simply just recognizing the fact that, like, you are the operant power of your system. And sometimes you need to be more selfish for what you want to do, right? And not so much care what others think of it, right? And again, how do you get the bigger manifestations? And for each of us, some things are harder than others, right? But you get it by working on your level of conviction, by leveling up your belief. And in my opinion, I think the best way to do it is just jotting down all the smaller stuff you manifest, so that eventually the level of difficulty becomes you're pretty much on that level. And eventually, right, we're all on our own journey. I don't know how long it's going to take, but eventually that thing that felt impossible now feels beneath you. And that's what you want. The goal is to make sure that everything is beneath you, no matter what. You should feel like, yeah, I'm going to have $1 billion given to me sometime very soon. Yeah, I'm going to have that happen, right? Like, you should feel like anything is doable, right? Everything is beneath you. So, in closing, break free of the system that we shackle ourselves to, right? And you'll find that life will be a lot more magical and a lot more fun when you realize ultimately that you are the conscious creator of your life. You are the architect, and you have the power to do as you please and control and choose as you please. But you need to have the knowing that you have to change and work on it, and it won't come easy. It takes time, it takes effort, but it is doable, and you will succeed in the end.